Hear the word of God. On the following day, when they came from Bethany, he was hungry. And seeing in the distance a fig tree and leaf, he went to see if he could find anything on it. And when he came to it, he found nothing but leaves, for it was not the season for figs. And he said to it, "May no one ever eat fruit from you again." And his disciples heard it. And they came to Jerusalem, and he entered the temple and began to drive out those who sold and bought in the temple. He overturned the tables of money changers and the seats of those who sold pigeons, and he would not allow anyone to carry anything through the temple. And he was teaching them and saying to them, "Is it not written, 'My house shall be called a house of prayer for all the nations,' but you have made it a den of robbers." So in these two scriptures, we have the cursing of the fig tree and Jesus cleansing the temple. And when I think about the cursing of the fig tree, when I read it as a kid, I always thought, Jesus really should have just fixed this tree. He should have, made it produce fruit instead of cursing it, because that way he could have eaten and been satisfied and just went about his day. But it's become clear to me that that was not the message that Jesus needed to send in that moment. Throughout the Old Testament, we see that fig trees are often used to represent Israel. And in that moment, Jesus needed to send the people of Israel a message that if you appear to be doing something right, appear to be producing fruit, but you're not actually doing it, God is going to pass judgment on you, like Jesus did with the fig tree. It looked like it was producing fruit, it had leaves on it, but it didn't actually have any figs. And so Jesus had to curse it to send those people a message. And then we have the cleansing of the temple, which is my favorite Jesus moment in the gospel, because we get to see real human anger from him, and it's raw and it's passionate, and it makes him feel so much more relatable to see him express those emotions that we feel sometimes on a daily basis. And he doesn't waste any time. As soon as he gets to the temple, he starts flipping stuff and doing all kinds of things. And he wasn't upset that people were selling things, but it was a problem where they were doing it. They were doing it inside the temple where it was not supposed to be happening. And he mentions that my house shall be called a house of prayer for all the nations. And that was really true. The temple was supposed to be a place where people could come and lay down their burdens at the Lord's feet, just like we do up here on Sunday mornings. But these people had created this market where it was not okay for them to do that, and people didn't feel like they could come and pray like they needed to. And so Jesus had to make this big scene so that they knew this was unacceptable and they needed to leave. So my favorite thing about both of these situations is that this was just a regular Monday for Jesus. He was just doing his job, much like we do on a typical Monday. We do our jobs and we move on with things. And so as you go about the rest of your Monday doing your job, I want you to think about a few things. If you were a fig tree, would you have been cursed? Are you producing fruit like you're supposed to? Are you sharing the gospel with people? And are there things in your life that you need to flip over or remove so that you can get back to the house of prayer and lay down your burdens at the Lord's feet?